Write this down. Every time you over-explain, you are begging for permission to exist. That habit is not humility. It is insecurity wearing a religious suit. Over-explaining is a public announcement that you have not yet governed yourself. Respect is not a gift from people. Respect is the fruit of self-government. He that keepeth his mouth, keepeth his life. Proverbs 13:3. Silence is not weakness, it is dominion over your mouth. When you are under your own authority, others recognize an authority they cannot manipulate. What did I say? Respect is the harvest of visible self-discipline. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Tonight, we end tolerating our own undisciplined speech. We have been apologizing for our presence, reducing our value with explanations that no one requested. Listen carefully. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments do not audition for acceptance. They arrive, they execute, and they depart. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your work should speak so loudly that your explanations are unnecessary. Stop renting your identity to people's approval. The rent is too high, and the landlord is never satisfied. Let me root this in the manufacturer's intent. Genesis 1:26. Let us make man Ish, the species of spirit, in dirt in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion, rada, govern, rule, manage. Dominion begins with the self before it manages the world. If you can't govern your tongue, don't volunteer to govern cities. Psalm 141:3 prays, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch at the door of my lips. Why? Because your mouth is the gate of your credibility. The King of Kings modeled this. Isaiah 53:7 says of the Messiah, he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Matthew 27:14 reports, he answered him not a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Write this down. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence under control. Power that is ungoverned is noise. Power that is governed becomes law. Many of you are hemorrhaging authority in conversations because you fear the discomfort of being misread for a moment. So you talk and talk, thinking clarity will buy you credibility. No, fruit buys credibility. Jesus said, by their fruit you shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their paragraphs, not by their disclaimers, by fruit. You don't have to explain a mango tree in season. You just extend your hand. The tree doesn't campaign for your vote. It produces. Write this down. The man follows demonstration. Silence restrains you long enough to demonstrate who's the leader of your mouth. No one and everyone. Every day your feelings, your fears, your need to be liked, and your purpose compete for that steering wheel. When your purpose takes the wheel, your mouth submits. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. And Jesus added, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34. The heart is your subconscious, your belief system. If insecurity sits on that throne, your tongue will become its servant, always pleading, always explaining, always shrinking. But when assignment fills that throne, the tongue becomes a royal guard. It speaks only when necessary, and it arrests you when you try to sabotage your crown. Write this down. Restraint raises your price. You've been discounting yourself with words. The most valuable products are quiet. They let their performance do the advertising. The engine that lasts is the one not redlined at every traffic light. Power is proven by control, not by noise. The brake is as important as the accelerator. Leaders don't just know how to go, they know when to be still. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness is knowledge in motion, awareness governing impulse. The strongest muscle in a leader is the tongue that obeys its king. So here is our journey. Over the next moments, we will locate 9 decisive intersections where silence multiplies authority. 9 gates where restraint boosts your respect, protects your assignment, and increases your influence. When you are misunderstood or accused, when emotions are hot, when rooms fill with gossip and small talk, when you don't know yet after you state your value in negotiation, when your vision is still a seed, when mentors correct you, when fools and trolls bait you, and after you decide, each of these moments is a test of government. Fail them and you lose price. Pass them and your very presence becomes policy. Say it with me. I govern my mouth to guard my mantle. Again, I govern my mouth to guard my mantle. Your mantle is your authority to function in your assignment. It is delicate and it is costly. Many mantles were torn by careless tongues, not by powerful enemies. Judas did not kill Jesus. Purpose guided him through silence to destiny. Stop blaming the crowd. They only echo what your insecurity trained them to expect. Some of you left Egypt physically, but Egypt is still in your mouth. Delivered, but not free. You are using words to beg for freedom you already possess. Freedom is not talking louder. Freedom is governing deeper. Write this down. I don't need permission to be what God designed. I need discipline to remain what God assigned. If you believe that, lift your chin, breathe, and accept the discomfort of being silently certain. Authority feels awkward at first because you've been practicing apology. Today, we change your practice. This session is training, not entertainment. Take responsibility for your dignity. Watch your tongue as if it were the steering linkage in a vehicle, because a $5 part can shut down a $100,000 machine. A sentence can stall a destiny. From this moment on, let your silence announce that the governor is present. Let it tell the room. The king's business precedes the crowd's curiosity. Say it one more time. I govern my mouth to guard my mantle, and let the world marvel greatly. Let us return to the blueprint. Genesis 1:26. Then God said, let us make man-ish, the species of spirit, in dirt in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Not let them have religion. Let them have dominion. Write this down. God's first gift to humanity was not things. It was rulership. Rulership over what? The fish, the birds, the earth, and most importantly, the self. If you can subdue oceans and fail to subdue your own mouth, you are not yet leading. True leadership is self-discovery. You will never become a true leader until you are introduced to yourself. And the first sign that you've met yourself is that your mouth begins to obey your mission. Dominion read. Radar means to govern, to manage, to bring under order. Where does that begin? Inside. The king installed a governor in your spirit, and that government must set policy for your lips. James 1:19 says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. That is dominion language. Swift ears, slow mouth, slower temper. Write this down. Dominion begins with self-control. And self-control is first expressed in silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of authority. Silence is not absence of power. It is dominion in action, your purpose commanding your mouth. Say it with me. My purpose commands my mouth. Again, my purpose commands my mouth. When your purpose is weak, your words wander. When your purpose is king, your words line up like soldiers. Vision is more important than leadership, because vision tells leadership where to go. If vision sits on the throne, the tongue becomes its servant. But if the tongue occupies the throne, it dethrones the vision and embarrasses the crown. That is why Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, Matthew 12:34. The heart is the seat of belief. Belief decides leadership. Leadership governs language. You don't have a word problem, you have a government problem. Let me show you this with something you understand. Picture a car at 160 kilometers per hour. Who's the leader at that speed? The accelerator, the engine, the steering wheel, the brake? Who's the leader? No one and everyone. The accelerator is not the leader. It is a servant to the destination. The steering wheel is not the leader. It submits to the road's truth. At 160, the brake is not a sign of fear. It is leadership in action. The brake leads while the accelerator follows. Why? Because leadership changes hands based on the moment's demand. The part that preserves purpose becomes the leader. Now translate that to your mouth. When momentum is high, when emotions are hot, when reputation is on the line, the brake must lead them out. Silence is the brake at 160. It is not cowardice. It is control. It saves the car called destiny. Write this down. Power without restraint becomes wreckage. Power with restraint becomes influence. That $5 brake pad protects a $100,000 machine. In the same way, a 2-second pause can protect a 20-year reputation. You have been measuring leadership by noise. Heaven measures leadership by order. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, Proverbs 13:3. Keep it means to guard, to watch like a sentry. Your lips are a gate. Your spirit is the city. Your purpose is the king. Gates are not always open. That is called security. Some of you think silence disqualifies you in rooms, but the opposite is true. Silence qualifies you. It says to the room, there is a government here. Decisions are made by vision, not by insecurity. Even Jesus, the model man, stood before authority and chose silence at strategic moments. Pilate marveled not at his eloquence, but at his restraint. That is dominion. If the Son modeled it, the sons must master it. That's not religious passivity. That's royal policy. Say this out loud. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Assignments do not explain, they execute. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Leaders don't beg for microphones. They deploy their gift, and the fruit calls the meeting. Write this down. Respect follows order. When your words serve your purpose, people serve your vision. People do not follow noise. They follow clarity. Clarity is born in stillness. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Knowledge enters where noise exits. Silence is the womb of wisdom. Let me provoke you a little. Many religious people lose influence not because they lack scripture, but because they lack self-government. They misrepresent the king by undisciplined speech. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Your mouth reveals your mentality. If you believe you are hired by people, you will oversell yourself to keep employment. If you know you are deployed by God, you will speak on assignment and be silent on assignment. Stop auditioning. Govern. Write this down. When the king's vision sits in the driver's seat, the tongue becomes the gear shift, not the horn. Gear shifts are quiet, decisive, and timely. Horns are loud, emotional, and purposeless. Which one are you using? Every time your words outpace your wisdom, you downgrade your price. But when your silence escorts your presence negotiates on behalf of your destiny before you say a word. That is dominion at work. So here's our policy for the rest of this journey. Let your image dictate your instrument. You were made in His image to manage, not to beg. Govern your internal parliament. Call your emotions to order. Seat your vision as prime minister. Assign your tongue as minister of communication, not head of state. And when the agenda requires it, suspend the session, be silent, so that wisdom can draft the legislation of your next sentence. Say it with me. My silence is not retreat. It is rule. Again, my silence is not retreat. It is rule. Respect follows that kind of order. And when your words finally arrive, they will not seek attention, they will set policy. Write this down. Presence is a language. Confidence is its volume. Silence is its punctuation. The jungle knows this. Why does the lion lead the jungle? Not because he is the biggest, that's the elephant. Not because he is the tallest, that's the giraffe. Not because he is the fastest, that's the cheetah. The lion leads because of attitude. The lion walks in and the elephant says, lunch. The elephant sees the same lion and thinks danger. But the lion's belief system interprets elephant as meal. Your eyes say, that's an elephant. Your belief says, that's lunch. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Your mouth is revealing your mentality. When your heart is settled in purpose, your words stop begging to be believed. The righteous are bold as a lion, Proverbs 28:1. Bold is not noisy. Bold is certain. The lion's boldness is quiet until it chooses to roar. The hunt is mostly silence. Strategy. Patience. Presence. And then, at the appointed moment, action. Write this down. When purpose is anchored, silence becomes strategy. You don't have to prove you are a lion. You have to be one. Your attitude announces you before your adjectives do. That's why over-explaining weakens you. It trains the room to doubt your own belief in yourself. Confidence rooted in purpose makes silence powerful because presence and fruit speak for you. Say it with me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Again, I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Assignments don't beg, they execute. Jesus said, by their fruit you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their chatter. Let your work talk first. Let your words arrive later as captions. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs need explanations. Work produces evidence. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. Fruit attracts. Noise repels. I will never forget the day the jungle moved from metaphor to mechanics for me. Years ago, I was in Germany on the Autobahn. No speed limit. My whole life I had been discipled by signs, 80, 100, 120, trained to distrust power, pass a cultural line. That day I pressed the accelerator. 120, 140, 160. The vehicle asked, is this all you believe? I kept my hand steady, eyes fixed on the lane, a vision-led focus. 170, 180. And I remember laughing out loud and saying to myself, there is life after 170. Write this down. Most of your limits are cultural speed limits written on your mind, not on your engine. You have capacity, but you've been braked by the need to be tolerated. You speak too much because you were trained to ask permission to pass. Remove the mental speed limit. Install the governor Christ vision within and let purpose manage the pedal. Vision is more important than leadership because vision tells leadership when to accelerate and when to be still. Who's the leader at 180? The accelerator? The steering? The brake? No one. And everyone, the part that preserves the destination, leads. Sometimes the brake is the leader. In the same way, in a high-stakes room, your silence can be the leader. Your restraint holds the lane while your presence carries the weight. People don't trust a driver who jerks the wheel and slams the horn. They trust the one who holds steady. Write this down. Steadiness is authority in motion. Silence is how authority holds its lane. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If your heart says, I am hired by people, your tongue will oversell to stay employed. If your heart says, I am deployed by God, your tongue will report to assignment. Speak on assignment. Be silent on assignment. When the lion steps into a watering hole, he does not fill the air with promises. He surveys. He positions. He lets the breeze report the facts and the grass testify to movement. Then he acts. That is how leaders move. Quiet confidence, decisive action, fruit as witness. Write this down. Confidence cancels the need to impress. Insecurity talks, identity acts. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34. Check your heart. If every room makes you verbose, it's not because the room is tough, it's because your belief is thin. Thicken your belief with vision. How? Return to the blueprint. The king said, let them have dominion. He designed you for rulership, not performance for applause. When that conviction becomes your climate, your voice stops chasing weather. You won't measure your value by the decibels of your defense. You'll measure it by the depth of your results. Say it again. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Assignments carry access. They don't audition, they arrive. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. So deploy your work and let it send the invitation. If you must tell them you are a lion, you are not there yet. Let the tracks on the ground and the remains of yesterday's hunt do the talking. Let yesterday's fruit prophesy today's authority. From this night forward, carry yourself like the jungle's quiet king. Walk in the meetings like the hunt, ears open, spirit alert, vision steady. Sit, observe, discern. Speak when purpose requires, not when insecurity panics. And when you speak, let it be policy, not performance. Write this down. Presence precedes persuasion. Fruit finalizes the argument. Your silence is not retreat, it is rule. And when the moment comes to roar, one sentence will do what 1,000 explanations could not, because the lion's attitude already set the room under dominion. When you are misunderstood or accused, do not donate your dignity to the court of public opinion. Write this down. Accusations are invitations to perform for people who did not hire you, and explanations are often their tickets to the show. Over-explaining is how you submit to a frame you did not set. Silence is how you reclaim the frame and keep your vision in command. Jesus modeled this. Matthew says Pilate questioned him, "Don't you hear the testimony they are bringing against you?" And he answered him not a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Matthew 27:13-14. Luke adds that before Herod he answered him nothing. Luke 23:9. Why? Because kings don't validate traps, they validate truth with fruit. Write this down. Results and arguments. Evidence silences envy. Fruit is louder than defense. 1 Peter 2:23 says, when they hurled insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. That's why when heat rises and words start sparking like flint on steel, you must remember, oxygen feeds fire. And in conflict, your mouth is oxygen. Silence is the fire extinguisher. In heated moments, silence preserves your authority and prevents small fires from becoming wildfires. Write this down. Anger makes permanent enemies out of temporary problems. The scripture gives us the rhythm. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, James 1:19. That is not passivity, that is policy. Proverbs joins the chorus. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Proverbs 14:29. And again, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth the spirit than he that taketh a city. Proverbs 16:32. Restraint is regal. Royalty does not rush. Royalty rules. Picture the vehicle again at high speed. The room is tense. Emotions are at 160. Who is the leader now? The accelerator, the steering, the horn? No one and everyone at speed. The brake becomes the leader. Leadership is whatever preserves the destination. Write this down. The pause prevents the collision. Anti-lock brakes don't clamp once. They pulse, apply, release to keep traction. That's measured silence. A breath, a count, a pause, then a question, not a punch. You are not avoiding truth. You are preserving traction so the truth can arrive without a crash. Here are your tools. First, breathe and name the emotion. The psalmist spoke to his soul. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? Psalm 42:5. Do the same. Say softly to yourself, I feel anger. I feel disrespected. Naming drains the venom and returns you to government. Second, the 2-4-hour rule. No emails in anger. No texts in heat. Ephesians 4:26 gives balance. Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Resolve the issue promptly, but don't let wrath drive the response. Commit to respond within 24 hours after you have cooled, prayed, and drafted truth. Sleep buys you wisdom. Third, schedule the conversation when truth, not heat, will lead. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Proverbs 15:1. Say, let's meet tomorrow at 10. I want to honor this by giving it my best mind. That sentence is a throne. It announces that government, not grievance, runs you. Fourth, ask clarifying questions before conclusions. Help me understand what you meant by. Proverbs 20:5 says, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Questions draw, accusations drown. Let me give you a picture. Years ago in a board review, a partner misread a line item and questioned my integrity in front of the room. I felt my chest tighten. I could have fought fire with gasoline. Instead, I wrote 2 words on my pad, angry, disappointed, and I breathed. I looked up and said, I want to serve this conversation well. May I take 24 hours to gather the file and return? The next day, I arrived with evidence, not emotion. The numbers spoke. The room apologized. And the relationship strengthened. If I had vented, I would have won the moment and lost the man. Write this down. Winning the moment while losing the mission is not leadership, it's leakage. Say it with me. I will not let a moment steal my mantle. Again, I will not let a moment steal my mantle. Your mantle is your authority to function in your assignment. Don't pawn it for the thrill of a clapback. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Proverbs 17:28. Silence in heat is not fear. It is focus. It says to rage, you are not my driver. It says to the room, a government is in session. It says to your future, I will not trade you for an argument. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments are thermostats, not thermometers. Thermometers report the room. Thermostats reset it. Use your silence to reset the climate. Then, when you speak, let it be policy, not steam. Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. Proverbs 26:20. Remove the wood of impulsive words and the blaze dies. Keep your hand on the brake at speed. Govern your breath. Guard your tone. Choose your time. And watch how small fires cease to threaten your forest while your authority grows like a planted tree by rivers of water. Now, the third intersection. When gossip, slander, and small talk fill the room, write this down. If they gossip to you, they will gossip about you. Proximity predicts perception. When you sit with scorners, you will be labeled a scorner. Psalm 1:1 declared the policy long ago. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Notice the posture. Walk, stand, sit. Gossip tries to seat you. It wants you comfortable in a low chair. Leaders don't sit there. Leaders curate conversations. Leaders set the table. Leaders refuse to feed low-value dialogue. Write this down. Your environment is prophetic conversations, forecast destinations. If the room traffics in people, that room is going nowhere. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. A talebearer carries corrosion. A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Proverbs 11:13. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. Proverbs 20:19. The scripture is not asking you to pray about it. It is telling you to meddle, not disengage. Shun it. Shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. 2 Timothy 2:16. Write this down. Participation is endorsement. If your silence is agreement, you have the wrong silence. But if your silence is elevation, watch how standards rise. Who's the leader in a gossip circle? The loudest tongue? The shocked face? The whisper? No one and everyone. Leadership changes hands based on the moment's demand. In a gossip room, the leader is the one who elevates the atmosphere. Sometimes that leader is the quiet rider who refuses to throw wood on the fire. Withholding words in low-value conversation signals standards that attract respect. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. Ephesians 4:29. Edify means build. If it's not building, it's building your dignity. Here is your practice. First, fall silent and smile. Your smile says a government is in session. It interrupts the current without shaming the people. Second, pivot to purpose. Ask a mission question that lifts the room. What's the objective we're trying to accomplish here? Or how do we serve them to their face, not their absence? Questions are cranes. They lift conversation to construction sites. Third, set a boundary with honor. I value them too much to discuss them when they're not present. Let's loop them in or park this. That sentence is policy. It protects the absent and preserves your mantle. Fourth, exit if necessary. Not dramatic, not religious, just decisive. I'll step out and rejoin when we're on the agenda. Your feet can preach what your mouth shouldn't. Write this down. Your silence raises your price. The rarest voices speak when it matters. The precious stones are not found in chatter. I learned this sitting in a green room once. A famous name entered, and the air filled with small talk and shade. I had a choice: join the circus or guard my crown. I fell silent, smiled, and opened my notebook. Within minutes, the energy shifted. The ringleader leaned over and whispered, "You're not into this, are you?" I said gently, "I'm here for the work." By the end, 2 people asked for a meeting about purpose. Fruit attracted. Noise retreated. Write this down. Demand follows demonstration. Your boundaries will invite believers and expose busybodies. Say it with me. I am too valuable for cheap conversations. Again, I am too valuable for cheap conversations. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments don't dine at tables that serve reputations as appetizers. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Guard the air your work breathes. Gossip is sugar in the fuel tank. It feels sweet going in, but it seizes the engine of influence. James says the tongue is a fire. James 3-6. You decide if that fire warms a house or burns a village. From this night forward, curate the atmosphere. Where you cannot elevate, you will not participate. When purpose sits in the driver's seat, your mouth becomes a gate. Sometimes it opens to edify. Often it closes to dignify. Leaders are thermostats. Set the climate with silence, pivot with purpose, or take your weather elsewhere. And watch how the same mouths that used to bait you will begin to adjust to you, because standards, not stories, now define your presence. When you don't know yet, don't rent words you can't afford. Write this down. Ignorance is cured by questions, not speeches. Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise. Proverbs 17:28. Humility is magnetic. It pulls mentors, data, and grace toward you. Pride repels them. The fastest way to lose a room is to pretend. The fastest way to gain a room is to listen. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Proverbs 18:13. That's the Bible telling you. Don't fake it. Go find it. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. When you don't know who's the leader in the room, the loudest voice, the expert, the title, no one and everyone. The leader becomes the one who preserves the destination. In that moment, your ears must lead your mouth. Write this down. Ears lead, mouth follows. A wise man will hear and increase learning. Proverbs 1-5. Your purpose is king. Your tongue is the minister of communication. Ministers don't invent policy. They clarify it. So swap performance for curiosity. Ask clarifying questions. Take notes. Repeat back for accuracy. That's not weakness. That's government. Here is the practice of rulers. First, declare your policy. Let me think and get back to you. That sentence protects your credibility while you pursue competence. It sets a time and guards your mantle. Add a commitment. I'll return by 3 p.m. tomorrow with options and implications. Kings speak in decrees and deadlines. Second, ask framing questions that gather reality. What outcome are we solving for? What constraints must we honor? Time, budget, people. What evidence are we assuming? What will success look like in metrics, not adjectives? Third, write while they speak. Note takers run nations. Mary pondered these things in her heart. Luke 2:19. Pondering is royal research. Fourth, mirror what you heard. Here is what I'm hearing. A, B, C. Did I capture that correctly? Accuracy is authority. When they nod, you've earned the right to go build. The garage will help you. A mechanic's smartest tool is a quiet sensor. It doesn't argue. It reads codes. The $40 diagnostic tells the $20,000 machine where it hurts. Write this down. Diagnosis is leadership. Noise is liability. When you don't know, don't rev the engine. Plug in the scanner. Pray, study, and seek counsel. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men liberally. James 1-5. And in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Ask the right people the right questions, then return with weight. I sat once in a negotiation where a CEO asked me, what's the 90-day turnaround? I had frameworks, but not the internal data. I smiled and said, I honor the stakes here. Give me 48 hours to validate assumptions and return with a plan, risks, and resource requirements. Silence, move to study. I called 3 operators, read 2 reports, and built a lean roadmap. When I returned, I spoke for 8 minutes, clear, scoped, budgeted. He said, you just saved us 6 months. Write this down. Silence today buys sentences that move millions tomorrow. Vision is more important than leadership, because vision tells leadership what to say and when to be silent. Say it with me. I listen my way into leadership. Again, I listen my way into leadership. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your work demands mastery, not performance. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed. 2 Timothy 2:15. Approval there is not applause. It is accuracy under pressure. And accuracy is born in attentive silence. So here is your system. Install these 3 lines in your mouth. 1, help me understand the outcome you expect and the constraints I must honor. 2, here is what I heard A, B, C. Is that correct? 3, allow me to think, research, and get back to you by time. Then do the royal work. Gather counsel, verify facts, build options with implications, and return with policy, not opinions. Write this down. Silence positions you to learn fast and speak later with weight. Kings don't guess, they govern. You are not an accident, you are an assignment. Govern your learning like a throne room. Swift ears, slow mouth, steady pen. So when you speak, your words don't seek attention, they set direction. After you state your value negotiation, close your mouth and let your belief speak. Write this down. The first one to speak after price often loses leverage. Why? Because words reveal worry, and worry discounts destiny. Leaders don't discount destiny. Let your yea be yea, and your nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. That's Jesus giving you negotiation policy. Clear, clean, close, silence. After setting terms proves you believe your own worth and others follow your belief. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Never price your life by your job. Price the transformation your work delivers. The laborer is worthy of his reward. 1 Timothy 5:18. Reward there is not applause. It's compensation aligned with impact. Write this down. They pay for outcomes, not activity. When you name your fee, you are not selling minutes, you are valuing mastery. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. You didn't come to the table on their permission, your gift made a seat appear. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. The room is not your source, the manufacturer is. That's why you can be silent, because your source is not sweating. Who's the leader at the moment of price? The CFO with a poker face. The procurement policy, the charm. No one and everyone. The leader becomes the one who preserves the destination. In negotiation, the standard is the leader. Your stated value is the standard. Don't betray it with nervous syllables. Write this down. When you explain after the number, you start negotiating against yourself. Set the anchor and let the ocean come to it. Anchors don't chase ships. Ships adjust to anchors. Here is the tactic of kings. Prepare your number with integrity, scope, outcomes, and risk accounted for. Tie it to value, not vanity. Then enter, honor the room, and state the terms with simplicity. For the defined scope A, B, C, the investment is number. Payment structure is terms. Timeline is dates. Then stop. Breathe. Count in your spirit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sip water if you must. But do not rescue them from your standard. Let them respond to it. Your silence is your spine. It says, I believe my own math. It says, I am deployed, not desperate. It says, I trust the fruit of my work more than the fear in the room. Write this down. Discounts given under duress become expectations, not gratitude. Do not train people to distrust your first number. If you are always willing to work something out, they will always work you down. You can serve generosity as a sovereign choice, but never as a survival reflex. Leaders choose where to sow. Beggars accept whatever is thrown. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments do not audition for their own mission. Scripture backs your backbone. Buy the truth and sell it not. Proverbs 23:23. Truth includes your true value. Don't sell it cheap. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field. Matthew 13:44. Treasure is hidden because value is not for casual eyes. Don't spread your pearls of price before swine of pressure. Matthew 7:6. Protect the treasure by protecting the terms. Let me give you a picture. I once quoted a leadership deployment for a firm in crisis. I stated the fee tied to measurable turnaround, cash flow stabilized in 90 days, attrition reversed, governance installed. The room went quiet. A junior exec coughed and waited for me to blink. I smiled and reviewed the scope once, and then I rested. 10 seconds felt like a minute. Then the CEO leaned forward. If you're that calm, you've done this before. Proceed. My silence hired me. Their doubt respected my conviction. So here is your sentence and your stance. Sentence: those are my terms. Stance: breathe. Shoulders down, eyes kind. You are not resisting them. You are representing value. If they counter, evaluate scope, never your soul. Adjust the package if the mission demands. But don't amputate your worth to fit a budget that dishonors your fruit. Say it with me. My value is non-negotiable. My terms are clear. Again, my value is non-negotiable. My terms are clear. Close with this policy. Before any negotiation, pre-authorize your silence. Decide the number in prayer and planning. Decree your thresholds. Rehearse your breath. Then, when you speak the terms, let the room encounter your governance. Kings don't haggle, they instruct. Servants of purpose don't over-explain, they execute. Write this down. Standard before sympathy. Policy before panic. Fruit before feelings. Set your number. Seal your mouth. Let your work earn the echo. When your vision is still in seed form, stop announcing what you are still amending. Write this down. Protect incubation. Premature exposure invites premature opinions. A seed is a tree in potential. But if you lay it on a sidewalk to show the neighbors, they will step on tomorrow's forest. Concealed beginnings create unstoppable outcomes. Protect your vision until it can defend itself. In Genesis 1:26, the Creator said, "Let us make man and let them have dominion." The Hebrew radah means to rule, to govern. Dominion begins with self-government, especially over your mouth. Vision is more important than leadership because vision tells leadership when to speak and when to seal the lips. Joseph is our caution. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Genesis 37:5. He was right about his future, wrong about his timing. Write this down. Destiny spoken to the wrong audience is treated like arrogance. He traded revelation for validation and purchased 15 years of detours, pits, chains, false accusations. God still fulfilled the dream. But pain escorted him because he published what he should have pondered. Later, standing before Pharaoh, Joseph did not parade dreams. He interpreted need and proposed policy. Let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise. Genesis 41:33. Discreet first, wise second. Silence matured him. Do not confuse access to a microphone with authorization to disclose. Some of you are prolonging your process by narrating it to people unassigned to help you. Jesus himself was hidden. Herod hunted the baby king. So an angel said, "Arise, flee into Egypt." Matthew 2:13. The King of Kings submitted to obscurity for protection. 30 years of carpentry, 3 years of public fruit. Luke records, his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. Luke 2:19. Kept guarded, incubated. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. Luke 2:52. Favor with man came after stature. Write this down. Stature before spotlight. Wombs are quiet laboratories. No mother posts weekly womb photos to collect likes. She protects the child until time. Treat your vision like a child, conceived in prayer, formed in planning, nourished in discipline, revealed at strength. Who is the leader during incubation? The rain, the sun, the sea, the soil. No one and everyone. Leadership is functional. The leader becomes whatever preserves the destination. In this moment, the lid is the leader. The greenhouse is the leader. The boundary is the leader. Silence is the lid that holds the climate steady so growth can occur unharassed. Farmers don't yank sprouts to prove progress. They water in secret and let the field answer critics in season. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself. First the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. Mark 4:28. Process is holy. Protect it. Write this down. Share selectively covenant counsel, not casual audiences. The Bible says, in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Safety is in counsel, not in crowds. Identify your circle by 3 C's. Character, fear of God, integrity under pressure, competence, they've built what you're building or can pressure test it, and covenant, they are for you, not thrilled by your access. If a person gossips, they disqualify themselves. Psalm 1 told you not to sit with scorners. If they love your excitement more than your execution, they're a fan, not counsel. Keep fans in the stands, not in the locker room. Let prototypes speak, not predictions. Faith does not cancel prudence. Build a proof, not a press release. Nehemiah arose in the night and surveyed the ruins alone. Neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart. Nehemiah 2:12. He inspected privately, planned quietly, then presented a plan backed by timber and letters. Write this down. Evidence silences opinion. Present a pilot, a metric, a model. Show a working feature, not a wandering future. When your work speaks, you can be silent, and respect will translate your hush into weight. Guard your digital mouth. Some of you are aborting assignments with captions. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Psalm 141:3. In this age, your thumbs are lips. Install policy. Here are your 3 gates. Timing, trust, traction. Timing. Is the thing internally clear and externally ready? If not, hush. Trust. Has the audience proven character and covenant? If not, hush. Traction. Do you have evidence, data, design, dollars to defend it without debate? If not, hush. If any gate says no, your mouth must say nothing. Kings do not preview blueprints in the marketplace. They unveil palaces when the doors can swing and the roof can hold rain. Write this down. Protect incubation. Premature exposure invites premature opinions. Premature opinions become infections in fragile systems. A preemie is placed in an incubator with controlled light, temperature, and visitors. Why? To survive long enough to thrive. Your vision is a preemie. Reduce noise. Control heat. Limit visitors. Schedule feedback. Feed on time. Sleep your soul. Study your craft. Pray without broadcasting your prayer list as a brand. Study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands. 1 Thessalonians 4:11. That verse is not shyness, it's sovereignty. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs demand reports. Work requires results. Don't report a harvest you have not planted. Sow, water, wait. Serve your current assignment with excellence while your next assignment grows in the greenhouse. Write this down. Hidden seasons are heavy with heaven. God does his best carpentry in Nazareth. Let him shape you where no one is clapping so that when they finally clap, it won't move you. Here is your policy for the next 90 days. Create a seed vault. Document the vision on paper. Define the first fruit, one measurable outcome that proves life. Choose 3 counselors by the 3 C's. Schedule 2 private reviews, day 30 and day 60 for sober critique. Build a prototype. No public posts. No broad promises. No teasers. At day 90, let the prototype speak. If it bears fruit, you can announce function, not fantasy. Write this down. Deployment follows development. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to fruit. Say it with me. I guard the seed to secure the harvest. Again, I guard the seed to secure the harvest. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments don't audition. They arrive with evidence. Dominate your mouth so your vision can dominate its field. Concealed beginnings create unstoppable outcomes. Keep the greenhouse closed until the tree can shade the critics. Then, when you open the doors, let the forest answer every question your silence refused to dignify. When mentors correct you, become royal quiet. Write this down. Rebuke is not rejection. It is a renovation permit. Rebuke a wise man and he will love you. Proverbs 9-8. Love who? The rebuker. Wisdom falls in love with the hand that removes what slows it down. Let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness. Psalm 141-5. That's the Bible calling correction a kindness. You wanted comfort, God sent construction. Don't fight the scaffolding. Submit to the site plan. Who's the leader in the moment of correction? The mentor's mouth, your resume, your feelings. No one and everyone. The leader becomes the one who preserves the destination. In that minute, the leader is your silence. Why? Because silence keeps your vision in command while your ego sits down. Write this down. Defensiveness is the enemy of destiny. Defensiveness protects the you were. Correction unveils the you're becoming. He that hateth reproof is brutish. Proverbs 12-1. That's not me. Say it with me. I am wise. I will love correction. James gives us the protocol. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. James 1:19. Swift ears, slow mouth, steady spirit, quiet receptivity to correction turns minutes of feedback into months of acceleration. I've sat in rooms where 30 seconds from a seasoned builder saved me $30,000 and 3 years of wandering. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Correction trims your job habits so your work can run without weights. Here is the practice of kings when the rod of reproof appears. First, listen fully. Don't interrupt your future with your feelings. Breathe. Hold eye contact. Your face is policy. You are saying government is receiving intelligence. Second, summarize what you heard. Accuracy is honor. What I'm hearing is A, B, and C are slowing outcomes, specifically inconsistent prep, unclear briefs, and late follow-through. Did I capture that? When they say yes, you've moved from defense to design. Third, request specific actions. What would excellent look like by Friday? Which two behaviors? In what order? Measured how? Ask for examples. Convert adjectives into metrics. Fourth, schedule a check-in before you leave the room. May I circle back in 14 days at 9 a.m. to review progress against these three changes? Put it on the calendar while the oil is hot. Write this down. What you date, you do. Fifth, execute immediately. Deliver a visible change within 24 hours to anchor momentum. Speed proves repentance. Hebrews 12:11 says, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness. Afterward is where kings live. Not in the sting, in the yield. Mentors are God's afterward technicians. They compress time by loaning you their bruises. You can buy wisdom retail through pain and delay, or wholesale through correction and speed. Leaders choose wholesale. I remember a senior statesman pulling me aside. You're brilliant, but you clutter impact with extra words. Land the plane. It cut. Everything in me wanted to explain why. I shut my mouth, wrote his sentence, and asked, give me your version of land in 2 markers. He smiled. State the aim. Give the action. Stop. We set a 30-day review. In 2 weeks, my meetings shortened by 40%. Decisions increased, and my calendar received the miracle. Minutes became months. Correction worked like compound interest. Write this down. Honor turns feedback into fuel. When you honor the person, you harvest the wisdom. When you honor the process, you harvest the fruit. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. Proverbs 19:20. Latter end means destination. Counsel is a vehicle. Stop arguing with your ride. Say it with me. I am being deployed, not defended. Again, I am being deployed, not defended. Deployment doesn't waste time proving innocence. It produces evidence. Remember, leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. The mentality sounds like this. I welcome correction because I love acceleration. The skill looks like this. Listen, summarize, request actions, schedule review, execute at once. That's dominion over self. That's silence in service of speed. From now on, make this your correction creed. No excuses, no counter charges, no biography lessons about why you are the way you are. Biography is interesting. Fruit is convincing. When mentors correct you, you are not under attack, you are under construction. And when you emerge, the same rooms that tested you will trust you because your response proved you govern you. When fools and trolls bait you, close your mouth and keep your feet moving. Write this down. Silence toward provocation is not fear, it's focus. Leaders steward their direction, not debates. Wisdom says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Proverbs 26:4. Don't descend to dysfunction. Fools drag you to their terrain and then beat you with experience. Online and offline, many provocations are toll boosts designed to make you pay attention so they can collect fame. Don't pay the toll. Nehemiah gives you kingly policy. Sanballat and Tobiah hurled invitations to argument, but the builder replied, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Write this down. Purpose is a higher altitude than pettiness. If you come down to answer everything, you come down from the work. Keep the trowel in your hand and let the wall answer the whispers in due season. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. Proverbs 26:16. Some people don't want clarity. They want company in confusion. Leave them lonely. Who is the leader in a baited moment? The loud critic, your offended emotions, the crowd demanding a spectacle? No one and everyone. The leader becomes the one who preserves the destination. In that moment, silence is the leader because it keeps vision as the compass. Don't be impressed with power, volume, virality, verified badges. Ask where we're going. If their destination is drama, you cannot afford the ticket. He set his face like a flint, Isaiah 50:7. That's leadership posture. Forehead like granite, direction like a decree. Write this down. Never litigate purpose in comments. Comments are corridors for spectators, not courts for policy. Jesus warned, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine. Matthew 7:6. Pearls are policy. Swine love mud. Keep your pearls off their platform. If a response is required to protect people or clarify process, issue one sentence of policy, not paragraphs of persuasion. We follow our published standards and timelines, then go back to the wall. Proverbs gives the counterbalance. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Proverbs 26:5. How do you obey both verses? You don't descend to argue. You ascend to announce policy. You answer with structure, not strife. Then you move. Here is a tactic of kings. Block and build. Screenshot and archive. Report and resume. Write this down. Documentation is protection. Escalation is policy. Engagement is optional. If it's slander, preserve evidence and hand it to the proper authority, legal, HR, platform support. You are a builder, not a brawler. If it's mere bait, starve it. Algorithms feed what you feed. Withdraw calories, starve the fire. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. Proverbs 16:32. Rule your spirit. Your timeline is not a courtroom, it's a construction site. Guard your itinerary with the question, does this move the mission? Write this down. Direction decides dialogue. If the conversation does not advance assignment, it does not deserve attendance. Set 3 gates for responses. Mission, mandate, moment. Mission. Does this serve the outcome we're building? Mandate. Am I authorized to speak here, or is this for legal comms? Moment. Is now the right time, or is silence the wiser steward? If any gate closes, your mouth must. Say it with me. I ignore distractions and advance my assignment. Again, I ignore distractions and advance my assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments do not audition for relevance in shouting matches. They manifest results. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Keep your heart and your cursor. Keep your face like flint. Keep your hands on the wall. Let your fruit hold the press conference your silence refuses to attend. After you decide, stop explaining and start building. Write this down. Once you decide, be quiet and do the work. Jesus didn't trust crowds. The Bible says Jesus did not commit himself unto them, for he knew what was in man. John 2:24, 2:5. Applause is weather, not a compass. It changes with the wind, but purpose is a continent. Leaders don't poll weather to find land. There is a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes 3-7. Decision time is silence time. Why? Because silence after commitment demonstrates conviction. It says the verdict is in. Execution begins. Write this down. Stop crowdsourcing your convictions. When you keep asking for opinions after you've already heard God, you replace obedience with a survey. James says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1-8. Instability is expensive. It burns time, bleeds trust, and dilutes strength. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs ask for approvals. Work moves by assignment. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments don't audition for permission. They manifest fruit. No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. Luke 9-62. Decision means hands forward, mouth governed, eyes ahead. Let me give you the speed limit lesson. Culture paints numbers on your internal highway. This is how fast people like you are allowed to move. This is how far your family ever went. This is the lane your degree permits. Those are not laws. They are labels. Write this down. Silence is cruise control for dominion. When you stop explaining, you stop braking for bystanders. You stay in the passing lane. There was life after 170 on the Autobahn for me because my belief system removed limits to signs installed. Your belief is the engine. Your decision is the ignition. Your silence is the steady foot that refuses to panic when others flash their lights. Drive your destiny. Wave at their opinions in your rear view. Who's the leader after a decision, the crowd clapping, the critic pouting, your feelings trembling? No one and everyone. The leader becomes the one who preserves the destination after a decision. The leader is your calendar. The leader is your checklist. The leader is your silence that protects the schedule. Vision is more important than leadership because vision commands leadership to shut up and show up. He steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. Luke 9:51. Face like flint. Feet like policy. Words like a savings account, only withdrawn for purpose. Write this down. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. If you tolerate the committee of casual voices, you will never change your outcomes. The fear of man brings a snare. Proverbs 29-25. Some of you are trapped by likes and languishing in delay. You decide at 9 a.m. and by noon you've already posted a poll to see if strangers approve obedience. That's not counsel. That's codependency. Paul said, do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. Servants of Christ don't crowdsource convictions. They execute instructions. Here is the tactic of kings after they decide. First, put the decision on paper. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means actionable. Convert promise into process. Who, what, when, how, measured. Second, install a 72-hour hush. No new feedback, no announcement, only execution. Third, assign deliverables to the calendar. What hits by 5 p.m. today? What locks by day 7? What proves life by day 30? Fourth, create a one-sentence policy for inquiries. Appreciate your interest working the plan updates upon milestone. not a paragraph, a policy. Fifth, measure results, not reactions. Scoreboards are better than comment sections. Write this down. Results report better than you do. When food appears, explanations become footnotes. Jesus kept saying to people he healed, "See thou tell no man." Matthew 8-4. Why? Not because he feared fame, but because mission leads publicity, not the other way around. He often withdrew from crowds to pray, Luke 5:16. Crowds are consumers. Purpose is producer. Protect the producer. Silence is your security detail. Say it with me. The world needs me, so I move without permission. Again, the world needs me, so I move without permission. That's not arrogance. That's assignment awareness. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. They are attracted to movement, not meetings about movement. Write this down. After commitment, talk less, task more. Replace an explanation with an email that secures a resource. Replace a debate with a prototype that proves direction. Replace a worry with a workout, a study hour, a sales call, a line of code, a drafted policy. Do the next non-negotiable. If you feel the itch to explain, upgrade it into excellence. Excellence is the only explanation kings respect. When Daniel decided he would not defile himself, he didn't post a thread. He proposed a 10-day test and let fruit speak. Daniel 1:12, 1:5. Test, result, respect. That is the order. Your silence creates the conditions where tests can run undisturbed and results can arrive unmanipulated. From today, institute this discipline. Pre-make your mouth policy. After I decide, I go dark and do. Build your no-explain list. 5 people you will not process with once the decision is signed. Schedule a day. 1-4 and day. 3-0. Results check. At day 30, let the deliverable hold the microphone. If correction is needed, receive it. If celebration is due, give it to God and return to work. Write this down. Kings don't clap for the foundation. They wait for the palace. Lay the bricks. Let the palace answer. Silence that follows decision is not emptiness. It is mastery. It is self-government. It is vision, keeping the mouth in command. Close your mouth. Move your feet. Deliver your fruit. And when they ask you, how did you do it? Smile and say, I decided and then I worked. Now let's build the system. Write this down. Make silence a system. Train your tongue so your fruit, not your feelings, builds your reputation. Purpose needs policies. If you don't govern your mouth will govern your mission. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Psalm 141:3. Doors are not decoration, they are defense. Install hinges, appoint guards, post hours of operation. For the next 30 days, here is your royal regimen. First, a daily silence window. The first hour after waking is holy ground. No phone, no feeds, no opinions, only presence, paper, and plan. Say it with me. The first hour belongs to God and my assignment. In that hour, do 3 moves. Move 1. Align, read 1 chapter of wisdom literature aloud to calibrate the heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Move 2. Review. Read your vision paragraph and your top 3 priorities for the day. Vision is more important than leadership because vision tells leadership where to lead. Move 3. Design, schedule the top 3 tasks into time blocks. Your calendar becomes the leader. Who is the leader at 6 a.m.? Your feelings, your phone, your followers, no one and everyone. In that hour, the leader is silence because silence keeps the throne clear for vision. Second, a weekly digital fast, 1 evening, same time every week, sunset to bedtime. Put the device in a drawer in another room. Inform your inner circle. I am offline for assignment stewardship. Then practice presence, prayer, planning, and people read, think, rest, laugh with your family. Write this down. Algorithm starvation is authority restoration. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Proverbs 10:19. Withdraw your words and watch your wisdom rise. Third, a no over-explain rule. Policy. No paragraph where a sentence will do. Replace justifying with jurisdiction, state policy, state timeline, return to work. Example, appreciate the inquiry. We are proceeding per plan. Updates upon milestone. That's it. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to fruit. Save your wind for work. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes 3-7. Decide which time it is before you open your mouth. Now, the diagnostics for the 9 moments. Before you speak, ask 3 questions. Am I teaching? Am I reacting? Or am I trying to prove I belong? Write this down. If you're proving, you're losing. Proving burns trust. Teaching builds it. Reacting bleeds authority. Ruling restores it. In every moment, accusation, heat, gossip, ignorance, negotiation, incubation, correction, trolls, post-decision. Ask the triad. If the answer is proving, close your mouth. If the answer is reacting, breathe and buy time. Let me consider and revert by 3 p.m. If the answer is teaching, teach briefly, then let process and policy carry the weight. Here is your practice loop. Nightly, 5 minutes with your journal. Title, Tongue Training. 3 lines only. Line 1. Trigger what pulled at my mouth today. Write the moment. Accused at 10:30. Gossip at lunch. Negotiation at 2:15. Troll at 8 p.m. Line 2. Response. What did I do? Spoke. Stayed silent. Issued policy. Asked the question. Line 3. Replacement 1. Better behavior next time. Convert speech to question. Post to pause. Defense to data. Write this down. Question is greater than speech. Pause is greater than post. Data is greater than drama. Then weekly, review your journal on your digital fast evening. Circle 2 wins. 1 adjustment. Add 1 verse to memorize for the coming week. James 1:19 is your default. Swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Put that on your bathroom mirror. Train your subconscious. Reprogram your hard drive. Say it with me. My vision speaks through fruit. My silence protects my future. Again, louder. My vision speaks through fruit. My silence protects my future. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Assignments don't audition. They deliver. Let's guard your mantle with gates. 3 gates before any utterance. Mission, mandate, moment. Mission. Does this sentence move the assignment? Mandate. Am I the authorized voice for this issue? Moment. Is now the strategic time. If any gate shuts, your mouth must comply. Write this down. Authorization precedes articulation. Even Jesus said, I do nothing of myself, but as my Father had taught me, I speak these things, John 8:28. Teaching first, speaking second, instruction before expression. Establish response templates for the common traps. Accusation. I appreciate the concern. Our results will answer. Meeting at Friday noon for facts. Heat. Let's cool and reconvene at 2. Gossip. We honor people not present. What's the mission item? Don't know yet. I'm collecting data response by Thursday. Post negotiation. Say your number, then seal your mouth. Incubation. We're in development. Updates at milestone. Correction. Thank you. Here's what I heard. A, B, C. I will report in 14 days. Trolls. No response. Document and escalate if needed. Post decision. Working the plan. Write this down. Pre-made words protect future outcomes. Don't improvise under fire. Deploy policy. Let's measure growth by fruit, not feelings. Set scoreboard metrics for 30 days. Reduce explanations by 50%. Increase 1 call decisions in meetings by 30%. 2 fewer common threads engaged per week. 1 prototype delivered by day 30. 1 mental correction executed within 24 hours. This is not legalism. This is leadership. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Fruit is the report card of silence. Choose 1 moment to master this week. Only 1. Don't try to boil the ocean. Boil the kettle. Which moment bleeds you most? Accusation, heat, gossip, ignorance, negotiation, incubation, correction, trolls, post-decision. Circle it now. Write a 2-sentence policy for that moment. Then schedule a check-in with an accountability partner in 7 days. Put it on the calendar before you leave this room. What you date, you do. Share your policy, your scoreboard metric, and your verse. Give them permission to ask you, did your silence serve your vision? Repeat after me. I train my tongue. I guard my mantle. Again, I train my tongue. I guard my mantle. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Proverbs 25-28. Walls are not prison, they are protection. Your mouth is a wall. Guard it, and your city, your assignment will flourish. Write this down and never forget it. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. The mentality says my silence is dominion. The skill looks like this. First hour hush, weekly fast, no over-explain, diagnostic triad, nightly journal, weekly review, gates before speech, templates under pressure, scoreboard for proof, partner for accountability. That is a system. That is sovereignty. Close your mouth, move your feet, deliver your fruit, and let your harvest testify that you were trained for this, to rule yourself so you can serve your world.